Hey guys, Jacob Howard here, and today we are going to discuss the specifications of the DJI FPV drone and things you need to know about it before you jump into flying it. Now, for some of these specifications, we will have to rely on what DJI tells us, and others we can go out and test ourselves. For example, the average battery life. With that said, let's jump into some of the important specs of the drone. Number 1, batteries. The battery that comes with this drone is a 2000 mAh Smart LiPo 6S battery. DJI claims their battery has a 20-minute battery life. The longest I've gotten it to fly was less than 10 minutes, and that was just with easy cruising around a park. The battery charges fairly quickly from about 20% to 100% in less than an hour. The battery that comes with the goggles is a 1800 mAh Smart LiPo 2S battery. When used for flying, it only gets about an hour of reliable use. The controller battery is built in and charges quickly for how long it lasts. You can expect up to 7 hours of battery life with this guy. Number 2, the camera. The camera boasts up to 4K at 60 frames per second recording. The drone can support SD cards up to 256 gigabytes and can record in MP4 and MOV file formats. You can also take up to 4K JPEG pictures with this drone. The camera will record 4K at 60 and 50 frames per second, and HD at 50, 60, 100, and 120 frames per second. Currently no option for any kind of filming below 50 frames per second. The max video bitrate is 120 megabits per second, and I found it color grades fairly nice. The camera has a 1/2 CMOS sensor and has a max field of view of 150 degrees. The ISO ranges from 100 to 128,000, and shutter speed goes from 1/50th all the way to 1/8,000th of a second. It has a fixed aperture of 2.8 and a fixed focus of 2 feet to infinity. You also have 2 options for the video color profile, Standard and D-Cine-like. D-Cine-like gives you more room to color grade but looks very flat and unappealing if you don't know how to do it correctly. The camera also has electronic image stabilization, or EIS, as well as distortion correction. Number 3, the gimbal. Hand in hand with the camera is the single-axis gimbal. This allows you to tilt the camera down to -60 degrees or up to 70 degrees. This is a pretty cool feature because it means you can change camera tilt while in flight, allowing you to go faster or slower with the drone without messing up the shot. It can also roll electronically a little bit to help with stabilizing footage. Nothing to rely on though. Number 4, different modes. The modes of the drone are as follows: N or normal mode, S or sports mode, M or manual/acro mode. Each of these modes have different characteristics, and manual mode has several different levels to it. For normal mode, you have a max ascent speed of 18 miles per hour and a max descent speed of 11 miles per hour, and a max total speed of 33 miles per hour. You can also roll and pitch the drone a maximum of 25 degrees, so this means you cannot do traditional FPV flying with this mode. The gimbal will also tilt the opposite of the drone, so if you pitch forward 20 degrees, the camera will tilt up 20 more degrees, keeping the horizon at the same level it was. For sport mode, you have a max ascent speed of 33 miles per hour, a max descent speed of 22 miles per hour, and a max total speed of 60 miles per hour. This sport mode also controls the gimbal and will keep it level on the horizon. And finally, we get into manual or acro mode. This mode has always been known as acro for FPV pilots, but on this drone, they decided to call it manual mode. When fully unlocked, this mode unlocks ascent and descent speed. There is no limit. This is a good thing because if you're doing a dive and going 60 miles per hour as you dive, you do not want the drone kicking in and slowing you down. For max speed, this drone can go up to 87 miles per hour. Of course, this is going to be really pushing it, and there is no safe reason to be going that fast unless you're racing, but it is nice because it means you can comfortably cruise at 50 miles per hour without putting a ton of strain on the drone or battery. There is, of course, tons we can talk about here, but in this video, we are just looking at the specs for this drone. So let's move on to the next one. Number 5, video transmission. Now, you cannot have FPV without some really good video transmission, unless you fly analog. For those of you who didn't get that joke, just remember that analog video like this is where FPV started and still continues for tens of thousands of pilots. There are many pros to digital, but for this DJI FPV drone, the digital HD feed you get is simply incredible. At 810 pixels at 120 frames per second and a 40 millisecond latency rating or lower, it is truly incredible. Max video bitrate is 50 megabits per second, which will give you up to a couple miles of range depending on the area. We will have another video about the video and controller range of this drone. In the end, some of the specs on this drone are impressive, but in order to get impressive footage, you need to have impressive skills. So follow this course and learn how to really fly this thing, and you will find all these specs will help you out in capturing amazing footage. And of course, if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know, and have fun flying.